That on behalf of KORIKA, my name is Ari Wahyu Wijayanto. I'm the Director of AI Talent and Development in KORIKA. And it's really nice that we have today an interesting session on the webinar that we call the AI for Career Mobility, how to use AI to explore, prepare, and compete in the future world. As we navigate the accelerate all the AI talent development around the world, including in Indonesia as well, today we have a lot of innovation in artificial intelligence that evolve into strategic enabler of how to each individuals can explore their career paths. Also, they can explore their productivity, strengthen their competitiveness to compete in the global world.
Okay.
Through this webinar, KORIKA aims to provide a practical, policy-driven perspective and also how AI can empower all of us, including all of you, the guys in today's session, to develop your career, develop the talent using AI. To begin our session, it's my honor to invite the first is Professor Hamam Riza, President of KORIKA, to deliver the opening speech. The second one, we will have a welcoming remarks from Miss Anna Richie Allen, the Public Diplomacy Officer of the Embassy of the United States in Indonesia. And for sure, we have our distinguished speaker, Oscar Garcia. Thank you so much for having us today, and thank you so much for coming to the webinar sessions. Oscar Garcia is the founder and Chief Empowerment Officer of Aspira Consulting. So in today's session, we'll briefly introduce President of KORIKA, Professor Hamam Riza, to deliver the opening speech.
Okay.
So Prof. Hamam, the floor is yours.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of KORIKA, Collaborative Research and Industrial Innovation in Artificial Intelligence, also the Center for Technology and Innovation Studies, as well as the initiative of Technology Auditor Indonesia, IATI, I would like to welcome you. It is my privilege to welcome you and to our webinar, AI for Career Mobility and how to use AI to explore, prepare, and compete. We stand at a pivotal moment in global development. Digital transformation is really accelerating, and AI has become a strategic enabler, reshaping career pathway and strengthening talent readiness, as well as driving competitiveness in every sector, because AI is sector agnostic. This forum is designed to share both practical strategies and policy perspective, so that together we can build an adaptive, innovative, and globally competitive AI talent ecosystem. Today's dialogue will highlight how AI empowers individuals to explore new opportunities. Later on, Oscar will share with you how to prepare for these transitions and compete in the very dynamic digital economy. So it is a call for collaboration again. And that's why we are very keen to bring in all helix of KORIKA here: government, industry, academia, community, just multi-helix orchestrator. And we want to ensure that AI become a force for empowerment and inclusion. So we are very honored to have Oscar as our distinguished speakers and partners joining us. And I'm especially grateful for the collaboration with the US Embassy, especially here, the public diplomacy sections of the US Embassy Jakarta. So I will stop here and let Kathy Oh, no.
Anna. Okay.
Anna.
Anna.
Anna Ritchie Allen. Did I spell this right? To deliver the welcoming remarks, and terima kasih Bapak Ibu semua untuk dukungannya selalu di dalam webinar series KORIKA. Ini adalah seri yang kedua dan kita harapkan akan terus semakin banyak seri-seri webinar yang akan datang. Terima kasih, kurang lebih mohon maaf. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Greetings
wabarakatuh.
to all of you. Pak,
Right.
langsung aja.
Selamat pagi, saya Anna dari Kedutaan Amerika. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm the Public Diplomacy Officer at the U.S. Embassy, along with my colleagues, Katie and Sheila. On behalf of the U.S. Embassy, I want to thank in particular the hosts at the Artificial Intelligence Industry Research and Innovation Collaboration. That's a long title, guys.
Sorry.
Or KORIKA for short.
Yes.
And especially to Prof. Dr. Haman Risa, President of KORIKA, for welcoming us today. We are so excited to be here and excited about this collaboration and looking forward to more. Because in this moment, we are witnessing a transformative wave of advancements that are poised to redefine the future of work. While AI serves as a powerful accelerator for productivity and innovation and human advancement, this era also requires responsible AI leadership. In this effort, we recognize the vital role of KORIKA, which ensures that technological development is not only academically rigorous, but also ethically grounded. By aligning government policy, industry application, and community inclusivity, KORIKA remains at the forefront of strengthening Indonesia's leadership in AI. To lead our discussion today, I am so honored and excited to introduce Oscar Garcia, founder and chief empowerment officer, love that title.
Yes, exactly.
Of the Silicon Valley-based Aspira Consulting. He is in Indonesia as part of the State Department's U.S. Speaker and Specialist Program, which seeks to connect experts and exchanges to have meaningful dialogue. Oscar has a career spanning incredibly 5 startups and leadership roles at LinkedIn and the Chamber of Commerce. He specializes in advancing innovation-led prosperity through human development. Through Oscar's expertise, we hope participants here today will learn more on how to leverage AI to enhance career mobility, from strategic networking to competing in the global market. So thank you again for KORIKA for hosting us, and I look forward to an insightful session.
Thank you. So let's have applause then.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prof. Aman, for inspiring opening remarks, and also thank you very much, Anna, for welcoming us today. And also, ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the main sessions. We are very much waiting for the introducing our distinguished speakers today, Ms. Oscar Garcia. The introduction of Oscar Garcia has been introduced very well by Anna. So I guess without further ado, right? Without further ado, Oscar, the time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm humbled and honored to be here with you, Dr. Juan. Thank you so much for your leadership, your vision. I've read up about you, the incredible work that you're doing, and just shaping so much AI here, not just in Indonesia, but really in the region and globally. So thank you so much. And KORIKA, and obviously also to the U.S. Embassy for the special invitation. So let me share my screen here with you all. And
The microphone is mute.
We co-founded a nonprofit
Yeah.
that was all volunteer based.
Yes.
I share that with you because one of the things too that I see
No, sir.
then that's when I sort of kind of got the entrepreneurial, what we say, bug, the desire to start my own business. I didn't quite know what kind of business it is that I wanted to start, but what I did do is that I burned the boat. And what I mean by that is that I made a decision that I was going to leave my role as a Chamber of Commerce. I gave a 7-month notice.
Right.
I date September 30th, 2015. That's going to be my last day. The date came. I didn't have anything lined up. I know some of you might think that's irresponsible, especially having a family. But that's part of having that entrepreneurship spirit, taking those risks.
Can
And
you the sign?
there we go.
Okay.
And so I left, but I did do a 1-year contract role at LinkedIn doing community relations. And that gave me more time for the business idea to settle in.
Right.
And 2 months before my contract ended, a local librarian sent an email saying, Oscar, we need a LinkedIn employee to come and do a workshop on LinkedIn. Part of my role was to find someone in the company to go do the workshop. I couldn't find someone to go do it. And I self-volunteered myself. And I told the librarian, I said, by the way, I have zero experience doing this workshop. My natural personality is an introvert. And she said, just come and do it. I went ahead and did the workshop. The
Right.
audience liked it. I liked it, but not in terms of public speaking. I like helping others. And after that, 2 months later, I left LinkedIn, and for 2.5 years, I did free career LinkedIn workshops to get my name out there and really
Right.
understand the market. And today, we are very fortunate that we have trained well over 75,000 professionals, students in many countries throughout the world. So that's a little bit about my background. I'm here to talk about AI career mobility. And I want to approach it from a little bit different perspective here. So I believe that with AI, there is no lack of talent.
Yes.
Talent exists everywhere. The challenge is that many times talent doesn't know how to translate their lived experiences. As I started off my trip here in Indonesia in Medan, I've had an opportunity.
you went to Medan?
Yes, to speak to students, entrepreneurs, a variety of people. And one of the things that stands out is how in Indonesia, there's also a lack of that digital literacy. Obviously, people living in remote areas,
Yeah.
okay, and many other challenges that come with that. And that reminds me a lot, very similar in the United States.
Mhm.
It's a little different in terms of maybe the economic mobility, or in some cases, the language, et cetera, and so forth. And even in general, many professionals, when we go to college,
Right.
we are taught how to become subject matter experts, but rarely are we taught how to translate our lived experience into a relatable career story. And now using AI to further amplify that story. And this is my mom and my dad. And I will tell you something is that earlier this year, I wrote a book that talks specifically about translating your lived experience. And my parents had passed away. They passed away about 10 years ago.
Mhm.
And my father could not read or write.
Mhm.
My both low income. They immigrated from Mexico to the United States. They never spoke English.
Right.
The minute I learned how to speak English, which was when I was 5 years old,
Right.
I became their translator until they passed away.
Oh.
That my father was a butcher in Mexico. Yes, yes, yes. And when I look back at that experience of not only translating at a young age for my parents,
Mm.
and then also at the age of 11, when my parents decided in the United States to have a side business of selling again meat, and I started helping them, I began to reflect on my own lived experience and how at the age of 5 years old, I was still learning how to play on the monkey bars, the playground. Yet I was already having adult conversations. I was already learning skills communication. I was already learning situational awareness. Like we all are applying it here today.
Right.
Yet no one ever taught me, no teacher, no professor. I was very blessed to graduate from one of the best public universities in the world, University of California, Berkeley.
Right.
Berkeley never taught me how to translate my lived experience.
Mhm.
And so when I graduated from Berkeley, I felt I was at a disadvantage. When in reality,
Mhm.
my entire life I had superpowers that were uncovered. And that's one of the things that I see
Mhm.
as I travel around the world, whether it's in Indonesia and other countries,
Yeah.
that many times we don't know how to translate those superpowers that already are in us.
Yeah.
And so it's about bridging what I call the opportunity gap.
Mhm.
On the one hand, on the left-hand side, we have talent, and then the goal is obviously career mobility. And most of the time, AI conversations focus on building a better model. Is it Claude? Is it ChatGPT, DeepSeek, whatever, Gemini, whatever. It's about advancing infrastructure, right? We focus on that. It's about scaling startups. I do believe that all that is important. But the conversation that we rarely have is, again, on how to increase what I call AI participation capacity.
Mhm.
And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is who can use this new tool, this new technology effectively?
Yeah.
Who can adapt with it? And how can who can compete because of it?
Right.
And I love, Dr. Ahmad, what you said earlier, one of the words that you said inclusive.
Yes. Inclusion. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
because that is critical. We cannot have a tool that only the top elite
Right.
use, because that will hinder economic mobility
Yes.
for all.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. And so what I feel is that we need more of is what I refer to as we need more AI translators and operators. And no, I am not talking about it as in translating technology, but I'm talking about the skill sets. when I've heard stories like yesterday that I was at the alumni event and I was talking to individual participants there. Some of them were sharing, I'm from a remote part of the country, you know, or we're working with elderly that, again, you know, lack technology, access to technology.
Yeah.
And yet, as I was thinking about them, I was reminded of my own parents who were illiterate, yet have the amazing
No sound again.
how it is, because I want you to do it, okay? So you have three columns. The column on the left is experience. The column in the middle is feelings. And then on the right is a leadership asset or skill. And I'm going to use myself as an example. So, life experience. I shared with you how I was a family translator from a young age. How did I feel? Scared. Being around adults is not comfortable, especially when you're a kid.
Unmute this one.
Oh. Okay, okay.
We will use your mic.
Okay, perfect. So, I felt a family translator. I felt scared.
But today, when I reflect on that experience, as I said earlier, I learned communication skills. Okay.
Yeah.
The family business at 11 years old, I would rather be playing baseball, but I was helping with the family business. And honestly, in the US, for me, that was embarrassing that my parents were doing that. Most 11-year-olds don't want to have their hands dirty cutting up meat and stuff like that. What is this a leadership skill that I learned? Customer service.
Customer service.
Okay. So what I want you to do, I just want you to take a quick 1 minute. Those of you also that are on Zoom, 1 minute, and I want you to identify a life experience. How did you feel from the when you during that time from that experience? And today, when you look back, what is a leadership asset that you learned? So, and I'll ask for a volunteer. So anyone, write it down, please.
You can direct it to Pak Saiful there.
He wants you to volunteer.
He has a full life experience.
Oh, does he? So think about a life experience, okay? And when you reflect back on that experience, how did you feel in that moment? And then today, when you look back at that life experience, what is a leadership skill or an asset that you learned?
How far does it go?
You can go, I went back as far as 5 years old.
I can't remember that.
As far as you.
What I can remember is that in 98, I guess you know what happened in 98.
Yes.
It was this financial crisis.
Crisis,
Yes.
Okay.
Asia, especially in Indonesia. And it happened with my wife is actually French, and we were living in Jakarta here. But because of that situation, she decided to go back. I didn't follow her immediately, but then of course I had to move with her. But then when I moved there, I left everything. You know, I was working with the University of Indonesia here,
Yes.
in the Faculty of Computer Science. But I just moved there and tried to sort out myself there. So I tried to identify what strengths I have and what opportunities I have. And fortunately, at that time, the UN was keen on accepting people from developing countries as compared to the more established countries, because then you in the UN, they have to have some kind of equilibrium between the developed and the developing countries. So I took the opportunity of that and applied for the UN, and then I ended up in the UN. So the key here is, I think, to identify what strength you have, and then capitalize on that strength or potential into something that can work for you.
Yes.
I don't know if that considers. So, Mr. Saiful, he spent maybe more than 10 years in the UN? In Kenya. In Kenya, yes. Yeah, I started in Paris, but in total, I was with the UN for 25 years. I was with the UNEP, which was headquartered in Kenya, so I decided to go there.
Yes.
In order to have more career opportunities than in Paris, because Paris was only a divisional office.
Yes.
You have more opportunities at the HQ, at headquarters.
Yes.
But at that time, it was in 2013. I remember just 2 weeks before the attack at the mall. I don't know if you know Al-Shabaab.
No,
Yeah, it's from the Somalia thing. But and the attack was in Nairobi mall, the biggest mall at that time.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
but then I decided just to go. I decided to go.
sure.
So I think in life, once you decided something, let's go for it.
Yes.
And let's see what happens afterwards.
Yes. So what I'm hearing, and thank you for sharing this, what I'm hearing is the 1998 situation here in the country. You were probably feeling uncertainty, some risk, right? And today, when you look back at that experience, being resourceful, a leadership asset that I'm hearing, learning how to be resourceful, how to be adaptable, how to navigate also uncertainty.
Yes. I think what I can also add is that we need to have priorities, which is priority,
Yes,
and then focus on that priority.
yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And this is an example, everyone, how anyone, and I use this example with 13, 14 high school students to professionals, and it's a very simple, practical way to help us reflect
Yeah.
back
Right.
on life experiences and realize that we're not starting from zero, but instead, as I say, we starting from lived experience. And so, what's up? Next thing that I want to talk about is that, oh, there we go. Okay, is what I call the career mobility formula.
Yes.
And if you notice on the right-hand side, the foundation is trust. Trust. What that is a foundation in terms of being able to develop those networks, the relationships, and the three pillars that help support that is clarity. Do people understand what you do?
Right.
Okay. Number two, credibility. Why should they believe you? And number three, that consistency. How reliably do we show up? And see, what happens is in the world of social media and today with AI accelerating,
Right.
clarity sort of kind of seems to get blurry. It's like, pouring some milk in this bottle of water and it's a little murky.
Right.
Okay. And AI is like pouring more milk and it's even murkier, right? The other part is credibility. It's so easy with AI today to create something, an image or whatnot, that makes us look much younger, that makes us think that or perceive that we have accomplished more than what we really have. And again, it's about that developing that credibility, right? And then lastly, the consistency. What happens is that in order, again, to build trust, is that we have to be consistent in what we deliver. Okay, that consistency, where we show up, how do we show up across different platforms and so forth. Okay, and then that obviously leads to the top where you see that the visibility is what people see. Okay.
Branding is not a fancy title.
Yes. Now, we're not going to go through this. You can take a screenshot or not, but this is an exercise that I also do with folks that I call it the professional trust audit. Okay. Where, for example, I ask people rate yourself in each of these different areas. Number one, on a scale from 1 being very weak to 5 being excellent, how can you explain your role clearly? And I also oftentimes say, can an eighth grader understand your role? Because we are very good. The more professional we get,
Right.
the more the bigger words we use,
Yeah.
and the more confusing we become.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
Oscar.
Oh,
Three is in orange.
I know how to communicate value without sounding self-promotional.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just the to show how to rate yourself.
Yeah.
That's
The three and the others are blue, and then the only last.
No, this is some example
Example.
that you select.
yes.
You
It's an
select this
example.
one.
It's an
Right. Yeah.
Yes. So again, oftentimes, because many times people, self-promote themselves, and I believe in being humble.
Right. Sure.
Okay.
You have to be.
Yes. Okay. And as I also tell people, there's a time and a place when we need to let the world know how amazing we are,
Mhm.
but that doesn't have to be 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Balance, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Balance.
Mm.
So I want to talk next about some strategies as it relates to AI for career mobility. Okay. And there's many, but I just want to point out 4 different areas that we could use AI. So number one, obviously in career exploration, right? AI, again, it's a very powerful tool where we can use it to compare roles. For example, when I transitioned from tech to the Chamber of Commerce president CEO,
Mhm.
this was back in 2009. Obviously, AI did not exist then.
Right.
And everything that I had to do to help me with my transferable skills, with communicating my story and relating my story from tech to the Chamber of Commerce CEO, AI today would have been an excellent tool to help me be able to
Yes,
do that.
exactly.
Okay. Number 2, the positioning and your messaging, right? You can sharpen your biography. You can rewrite it. I mean, the embassy or the State Department as part of the Speakers Bureau's program has my bio, but things have changed. And in fact, even with the U.S. Embassy, when they initially asked me for my bio, I went and updated it thanks to the help also of AI as well. And I was able to do it very quickly. Okay. Um, the proof and portfolio, I'm actually going to show you some examples here, but it's where we can turn some of that, what might seem like unorganized, messy experience. It's like when you walk into my bedroom and the clothes is all over the place, okay? And somehow we can figure out some order to it, that we can use it. And then lastly, number 4, preparing for opportunities.
Right.
Okay, that we can do that, whether it's drafting questions, interview, outreach, practicing, and so forth. I mean, I have ChatGPT where sometimes they'll say, Oscar, do you want to role play now next? Okay, with some question and answers. Okay,
Right.
so I want to show you here an example here of using AI. Okay, so on the left-hand side, as you can see, it says audit and stress test. So we can use AI as a tool to detect any contradictions, any weak spots in our resume, LinkedIn, or biography. We can use AI to help us do that. We can also, in interviews, situations, depending on who it is, we can simulate what it says, maybe some people that might question us
Right.
in a less than positive way.
Yeah.
Or using AI as well to help us strategically frame our message, depending on who the audience is. Evidence and systems, quantify any missing proof. We can ask AI based on the situation, what it knows about us or what we provided to help us. What are some gaps? What are some areas that I'm missing based on who I'm going to engage with or what it is that I'm going to do? Also, we can help it as well in terms of practicing some of that leadership judgment. And then the last one that I think is also important, and I share this with many professionals, and that is that it's about be the captain of your own ship, of your own career. Many times when we think about our next career move is when something drastic happened. Okay. And instead create what I call a career operating manual. You know, oftentimes in business, we have SOPs, standard operating procedures.
Yes.
But rarely do we ever create a personal career SOP.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, all right. Also, you know, you can use, you know, AI, you know, in terms of profession, excuse me, any gap analysis, right? Competitor information,
Mhm.
okay? What are some small micro advantages that we might have? And then also, from a branding standpoint, helping us as well, in terms of being able, what are different ways that we can amplify our message, tools, platforms, et cetera, and so forth.
Yeah.
I'm going to share with you a specific example. So this, when you go onto my LinkedIn profile, there's a section that says About section,
Okay.
and it's very text heavy.
Mm.
Honestly, I will tell you, for me personally, I don't like to read. I'm a visual person.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not a reader. And so if I see something like this, like, oh my gosh, this is a lot to read. But look what I did instead. I used AI to turn what you just saw on the previous
Right.
into a very visual, simple, easy story of me.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And this, depending on your audience, is much more relatable. Or in some cases, yes, maybe you do need this.
But
But
yeah, this
okay,
much better.
yeah, exactly. Yes, very simple. And the message gets through. Okay.
Right. Right.
Next, I want to show you also another way to use AI. This is just like about a 20-second video, and then let me explain. In order to help us craft our story, the first thing that we need to do is we need to change the narrative. What do you mean, Oscar, change the narrative? Think about these labels that society has placed on you, and how can you flip the script into something positive? The second thing that I encourage you to do is to run your own race. Please stop comparing yourself to other people. And then lastly, embrace your imperfections. We all have them. So embrace your imperfections. So everyone, this is an AI generated video of me.
Yes.
Okay. Now, why do I show this? Because first of all, I'm very busy, like all of you are, bless you, and doing what we're doing. And I do not have time to be constantly creating content. However, the message is Oscar Garcia.
Mm.
And that's where this is an example of using the power of technology, but keeping the human element, your core essence, or as I like to say, when, you know, using cooking as a metaphor, is keep your own seasoning in
Yeah.
it. You know what? You ever watch those cooking shows where there's like 10 people, you know, on a grill and they're all cooking the same thing? Hamburger, pizza.
Personalized.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone puts their own personalized seasoning to it. That you use technology, okay, that you
So it's real, right?
so I have my graphic design. Take-
What I ask is the T-shirt is real.
Yes. Yes, the teacher, yeah, and he took a picture. I have a picture of me, and then he used AI to create the storyline based on things that I've said.
Right.
Okay. But again, I show this as an example of how really a professional today with technology, you can use it. And even then, if you can't do it,
Yes.
as I say today, you can find a 12-year-old that can do this for you. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with this here and I'll open up to some questions. I am a fan of taking small steps, not giant leaps.
Okay.
I do not like to run, and I know running is good for you, but if you were my running coach and we went tomorrow to the track and you said, Oscar, run a lap, my ego would make me run the lap,
Okay.
but then I wouldn't show up the next day or the day after because I would be very tired. But if you said, Oscar, let's meet at the racetrack, and I show up, and I'm in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to run, and you're like, you know what, Oscar, I just want you to look around. Come back tomorrow and, you know, we'll continue. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's it?
Oh,
Yeah, no, that's it, Oscar. Go home. I'll come back the next day.
Small
There's
steps.
small steps, okay? Small
Right.
steps.
Right.
And so here are 5 small steps that I encourage you to take. Number 1, find an asset, something even if it's just a bullet point in your story, your bio, or your LinkedIn, and use it to help you refine it. That's it. Number two, maybe use AI to share some kind of an insight, something you've learned, a document, something. You will be amazed how, for example, there's many times where nowadays, again, I'm also a lazy writer, usually send voice messages, but I'll speak into ChatGPT, give it a situation, and then I say, help me turn this into a content
Right.
to post on social media.
Yes.
And I specifically tell it what type of platform it is. Number three, reach out to someone, connect with someone out there, okay? Number four, look at ways to improve your prompt, your positionings. That's one of the things that's also underrated, that many of us, you prompt AI as if we were doing a Google search. And as I tell people, I want you to talk to AI or use AI as if you have a business coach, and that business coach is charging you a lot of money, and so therefore you ask them some tough questions. Okay. And then lastly, number five, using it as well to reflect. I oftentimes as well will summarize on Friday. I go on ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, this is what happened this week. Tell me, what are some gaps? What are some things that I need to do, et cetera, and so forth. And it walks me through the different things that I did right. It challenged me in areas where I need to improve.
Yes.
And I will tell you, probably maybe about 70% of the time it's wrong.
Yeah.
But that 30% is what helps me move forward.
Very
Okay.
good.
Okay. So I leave you with this. What is one thing that AI cannot replace? And that is the human domain on the right-hand side. Our judgment,
Yes.
contextual nuance,
Nuance,
the political sensitivity, right? The ultimate accountability. We are ultimately accountable. Okay. All right. And so I started off by sharing a little bit about talking that exercise about lived experience. I want all of you to know that our lived experience is not a liability. It is an asset.
Oh, I need to take this shot. Really good. Great, Oscar.
Yes, and here's my contact information. It's coming up here, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Is it switching here? Let me see. Oh, I think it's stuck right now. Well, I guess. Oh, there we go. So everyone, here is my contact information. You can connect with me on LinkedIn if you're on LinkedIn. If not, on the bottom left-hand side is my email address. As I like to say, is that now that you have my contact information, in Spanish, we have a saying called Mi casa es tu casa, which in English means my home is your home.
Home, yes.
So we are now connected forever. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you.
Great presentation.
Right.
Ari.
So, thank you so much, Oscar. What is inspiring presentation from you? It's inspiring thoughts. I guess many of our participants today have many questions regarding your inspiration, but I guess I noticed some points from your talks that very relates to our conditions in today's era. I noticed at least a few points that maybe other participants also have the same exact questions. So to warming up the discussion today,
Yes.
the first is, many professionals today already utilize AI as a tools,
Yes.
but as you mentioned that we live in a world that AI should be utilized and agility
Yes.
to improve your career in the future.
Yes.
So how should we manage to get the high competency using AI, but still manage our personalized credibility, our customized behavior, or our how to say, like unique skills or
Yes.
something like that, or our cultural identity, so we stand out among others in the
Yeah.
era of AI?
That's a great,
right.
great question. So one of the things that I recommend that you do, and again, this is something that I've done, is that I have trained AI. So let me give you a specific example. So I use AI to help.
No sound.
And in addition to that, I've also set parameters because you can do that. Like for example, with ChatGPT on the settings, you can do set parameters, criteria, set what you want. And I like to think very practical terms, and that is that if I was again hiring you as my writer,
Right.
a good writer, a great writer will want to know, Oscar, what's your voice? What's your tone? What tends to be frameworks that you use,
Sure.
right? To be able to extract that.
Sure.
And then therefore, later on, as I share with it, it could be audio recordings, text recordings, or whatever content. AI now is using that framework, that knowledge to better shape it.
I see.
Because what happens is many times we don't do that, and we just
Right.
generally, it's like
Right.
you're going up to a stranger on the street and say, "Hey, can you write an article for me?"
Right.
Sure.
Right.
And they write it
Yeah,
because AI will do it,
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
but it's missing. And then the last part that I encourage people to do, and I say is let your heart be your pen.
See. Right.
Let your heart. Many of us don't do that. We try to connect with the mind first, but as I tell people, the best thing to do is connect with the person's heart first,
Yes.
Right. I see.
and the rest will follow.
Right. So, yeah, wow, that's interesting. So it means that let AI learn your styles and then amplify it to improve your career, something like that.
Yes.
Right. Okay, that's very interesting, Oscar. So, and also, before I provide a session for a Q&A, I also noticed some of the interesting points that I noted previously, that as AI becomes deeply embedded in many hiring and networking and also personal branding, yeah. So how can individuals ensure that how they use AI to be responsibly? So in the meaning that there should be like without compromising the credibility, they can improve their personal competency
Yeah.
to the point that without compromising the credibility or without compromising the transparency and the how to say responsibility of that individual itself. It's kind of like a responsible AI that many
Yes.
people talks about. How do you
Yes.
opinion about that?
Yeah, so okay. Right now, what I am seeing is many people, professionals, for example, will use AI to write their resume, their cover letter, and so forth. And what's happening from an employer standpoint, especially with the larger companies, now they're getting inundated, receiving a lot of resumes that sound all pretty much the same. And what a challenge with that is that you have professionals that are getting stopped because of the AI or systems they use to filter those resumes. The other part too is that at some point, if you do happen to get past that filter,
No sound again.
You know, to use basic software. That's the problem. Okay. So what I encourage
is that you use AI to help you with the research of the position, the company, the industry. But you also use AI to help you even before And I do a whole different other talk in terms of positioning yourself to attract opportunities. And it goes back to what I mentioned earlier, that trust foundation, the pillar, the clarity, the credibility, the consistency. When we start doing that from day one in our career, we're actually better positioning ourselves to attract opportunities.
Wonderful. So nice. So the trust should be the foundation of all the things.
Yes.
Credibility is the main pillars of how we use AI. So yeah, thank you so much, Oscar. So ladies and gentlemen, and all of the participants, I guess it should be the time for question and answer session. So I guess many participants are eager to ask a question to Oscar for his wonderful presentation and his wonderful talks. Participants are welcome to submit a question. Oh no, now we have Pak Arif Kusuma. Pak Arif, you already raised your hand. Can you?
Yeah. Hi, Pak Oscar Garcia. My name is Arif Kusuma. Just call me Arif. ¿Cómo está, Oscar?
Pak Arif, your voice is kind of like a bit lower. Can you raise a bit your voice?
Can you hear me?
That's better.
Right.
But hang on.
Yeah. Just call me Arif, Pak Oscar. ¿Cómo está? So my question is direct and straight forward in terms of productivity. So can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. So when AI-driven productivity gains concentrate value at the top 10% of performers in any sectors, so what is the ethical and strategic responsibility of institutions that train the remaining 90%? And who pays for it? How's your thoughts and comments? Thank you.
So it's mainly about the ethical consideration.
Yeah.
Is it right, Pak Arif?
Do you want me to repeat my question again?
Yeah, please repeat once again. So we have a bit technical issue here.
So when AI-driven productivity gains concentrate value at the top 10% of performers in any sectors, my question is, what is the ethical and strategic responsibility of institutions that train the remaining 90%, and who pays for it? How's your thoughts and views, Oscar? Thank you.
You might repeat it.
Right. So I guess the question was, in the era of AI, the top 10% can utilize AI to improve their competency, and the top 10 companies can improve their productivity. How about the other 90%? How about the other 90%? Should they left behind, or how the strategy that they can enforce to something like that? And how, if there is some strategy that need money, we should pay the strategies. Yeah, so kind of like how we can compete, right? How we can compete. We do not talk about just only the top 10% that can utilize AI, but the whole ecosystem, something like that. So as a nation, should we care not only about the top 10%, but also the whole ecosystem?
Yes.
That's the main question.
So I think this is one of the beautiful things about the work that KORIKA is doing, right? And the national conversation of creating and building ecosystems and that inclusivity, the partnerships, right? The education, that is very, very critical thing to do. Now, from a practical standpoint is that what I am noticing here is that there are many AI makes it so that many people think that they can sing, but in reality, they're horrible singers. And what happens is with AI is those of us that are not singing, we think that they are doing amazing work. And all of a sudden we learn something new
or to use the technology, and we can leapfrog. And let me give you a specific example. When I started my business and I started doing LinkedIn workshops, that's what I meant. I went on LinkedIn and I did a search. How many LinkedIn trainers are on the platform? There were over 820,000 LinkedIn trainers. And most people would say, I'm not going to be a LinkedIn trainer because I cannot compete. But you know what Oscar said? I said, there's only one Oscar Garcia. And I mean this humbly, but look what Oscar Garcia is today. And many of those other people, 920,000, I don't even know where they're at. And in fact, with all due respect, it doesn't matter where they're at. And so that is what I also share with folks is that don't get intimidated that you are part of the 90%, because as long as you continue to put the effort in with the help and support of KORIKA and other organizations, and you're expanding that inclusivity, AI literacy will continue to increase.
Right. So don't fear the competition.
Don't fear the competition.
Use AI to improve your style, the uniqueness,
Yes.
and going for the competition.
Absolutely.
Well, very nice. Thank you so much, Oscar. So I will going back to other participants. So we have another participant that would like to ask the question. Pak Dana from Umbira. Please, Pak Dana, time is yours.
Miss Henny.
Pak Dana, can you hear us?
Pertanyaannya udah di kolom chat.
Di unmute Pak Dana.
Oh, okay. So I guess Pak Danang, the question from Pak Danang is also written in the chat box. So
In the chat.
yes, I would like to ask. You mentioned that AI can be used to improve things such as content creation. One of them being videos, right? As you know, there are still benefits of organic content. Yeah, made to ramp up growth, such as in some social media ecosystem. What do you think about such idea? I wouldn't say it's a problem, but I would say more like a standpoint in a content creation market. So I guess how we can make a position between the AI utilize videos, not AI maker studios, but AI utilize videos, but in other ways, still there's a benefit for organic content.
Yes.
Organic content in a video. So how do you see this thing, the strategy for us as well?
Yeah. So that's a great question. I am a huge believer in maintaining the authenticity in whatever content it is that it gets created. Okay. At the US Embassy, we did yesterday a very funny video skit and so forth, but they took elements of my own journey and combined it into a funny video, right? And again, it takes me back to the other example that I shared about the video that my content creator created, and that is that organic content is, we love that behind the scenes or kind of feel like we're there with that person. I remember she would call it like a telenovela style, how that's important here. And I do also believe that oftentimes this different organic content is also driven by the younger generation, right? Because those of us that are older, we didn't grow up like that. We grew up more private, okay? But the younger generation tends to crave that. And so what I say to this person who asked the question is that always keep that authenticity, that organic element in your content, but use AI to amplify and work smarter in creating content.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah, I guess that's a question from Pak Danang and also Oscar and other participants, ladies and gentlemen. I will read the question from the private comments in the chat box. So the question was, you are developing an AI career coach to expand access to personalized guidance in this era of AI. What are the biggest challenges in scaling such solution while maintaining the human-centered and also culturally diverse talent, such as in Indonesia, that is like the third world countries compared to many other countries. Because in Indonesia, we have a cultural diverse people in here. So what are the biggest challenges to scaling your solution to personalize and developing the AI career coach to many people?
Yeah.
That's the question.
So there's a couple of challenges that come to my mind. Number
Mhm.
one is lack of clarity, lack of focus. We can easily get distracted with how many features an application or a tool needs to have, or that because we have such a big vision. And in reality, what's important is to first create what we call a minimum viable product, a pilot. You test it, you get feedback, you
Mhm.
get proof on what's working, what's not.
Mhm.
And then from there, you grow. I want you to imagine planting, we want to plant an apple tree, and we plant one seed in the ground. And after a week, we go and we just see dirt. We don't say, oh, I think I need to plant more apple trees. So, because maybe that seed wasn't good and that next seed is going to grow by the next day.
Right.
Mm.
We have some patience, okay? And it begins to, maybe, who knows, a month later, 2 months, however long it takes, it begins to sprout through the ground, right? And what are we supposed to do? Take care of it. You till it, you water it some more,
Right.
Yes.
okay? But what happens is with AI, oftentimes these tools, is we get impatient or we hear what other people are doing, not doing, and we feel like we're missing out.
Mm.
The second part too, that a challenge is perfection. I tell people, just look at your mobile apps.
Right.
How many times since I've been in Indonesia, I've had to update, and I'm not saying because it's Indonesia, I know it's back home, but I've had to update my apps at least twice in the last 5 days. And imagine if these companies waited to come out, release their app until it was perfect. We would not have any apps. Okay, so that's the other challenge that I see, that perfection. And I oftentimes share with people that activity beats perfection.
Right.
Right. So it's kind of like continuous improvement
Yeah.
rather than the perfection.
Yes.
Right. So nice.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Oscar. So I also received another question from the private chat box. So
Yes.
so I will read it here. Given your experience across multiple startups and also the ecosystem building, how do you see the AI lowering or perhaps raising the barriers for entry for aspiring founders, especially in the emerging markets,
Mhm.
right? So maybe, as you mentioned, there are so much competition,
Yeah.
and we can utilize AI. How do you see AI can maybe should it raising the bars or should it lowering the bars for aspiring startup founders
Yeah.
in this era? That's I guess the
The-
interesting question.
Yes. So I actually believe that AI is actually lowering the barrier to differentiate yourself
Mhm.
from others.
Right.
Because again, it is a tool. It's how we use the tool.
Yes.
It's how we learn how to use the tool, not the tool in itself. My clicker is a tool, but my clicker, if my clicker gave my presentation, I just would have mailed you my clicker and be like, hey, here you go.
That will be
Yeah.
in a few years.
Yeah, get home, you know. But no, AI is tool and it lowers the barrier. And again, what I am seeing is I am seeing many people using it as in like this is a fun new toy. Oh my gosh. But a small number are actually using it in a way that is intelligent, competitive,
Mhm.
and helping them. It's strategic.
Right.
Most people are using it, okay, as just
So it's a competitive advantage,
absolutely,
right? Because of you
absolutely.
have upskill actually
Yes,
on using AI.
yes.
Right,
Yes.
right. So it's not about the tools, it's about the strategy itself, right?
Yes.
It's always the tool, right?
Yes.
And behind the gun,
Yes.
yes, right? So,
Yes.
okay. Wow, that is nice.
So I have a follow-up question to that. So people are hesitating to use this AI as a tools, to upskill, to basically, leverage them being competent in these AI tools because they worry about the security and the safety.
Yeah.
And even though there are a lot of discussion on this AI governance, AI policy, things like that, what makes people being more motivated to use this AI?
Yes.
Because right now, globally, we are just talking about, policy framework and, policy toolkit, like OECD is doing it, the US itself, there is an IST,
Yeah.
risk management framework. Again, we are trying to make the people understand and how to mitigate the risk of using these AI tools. I want AI to be like TikTok, it's on everybody
Yes.
phones or smartphones.
Yeah.
But in order for them to want to have that AI tools on their smartphones, we have to, promote responsible AI,
Yes.
trustworthy AI. What do you think?
Yes. So thank you, Dr. Juan. So again, the work that your organization, KORIKA, is doing is so vital to help with educating the public, and it will take some time,
Yes, sure.
to do that. Now, to bring it back again, also from a practical standpoint, I want us to understand that when the telephone first came out,
Yeah,
I'm sure people were concerned about someone listening to their conversations.
yeah, exactly.
Now, the thing is that some of those people that had those concerns, unfortunately, they're no longer alive. So we can't necessarily talk to them. Did you really feel that way? But most likely, they're probably like, wait a minute.
Right.
Is someone listening to my private conversations? And now let's take the next example. How about, for example, credit cards or,
Yeah.
Chris,
Yes.
or,
Right.
that there's an element there that we also have to trust this technology,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Right.
And it takes time for the public to develop
Yeah,
that trust.
yeah.
But some of us that are concerned about AI, I want you to, and this is just ask yourself and the question, and only you answer to yourself.
Mhm.
But are you concerned about AI, yet you're okay using Chris or credit card or whatever, and you don't question that?
Right. Yeah, it will eventually.
Exactly. I think
come
it's a
to that, right.
mindset. Eventually, it's a
Now I
mindset.
don't bring any wallet,
Yes.
Just
Yes.
this phone, right?
Exactly.
Because of Chris and
Yes.
other
Yes.
micro payment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's a mind shift that
Right.
eventually we need to make.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah. Same thing in the US. It's happening. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Right. So, thank you so much, Oscar. So we received one more private question that I received in the private chat box. So the question was, since AI is evolving so fast and new tools are coming out almost every day, how can we stay focused on learning without feeling overwhelmed? And I think a lot of junior and mid-level engineer are struggling with this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
New
Yeah,
AI tools
exactly.
coming out almost every day.
Yes.
We stay focused on that. So I guess that's the question representing
Yes.
many participants.
Great question too, as well. So, and you're right, it can be daunting to have so many new tools come out, and then the press, the media writes up about them, and it's like, this is, you need to stop using this tool and now use this, and stop doing this and do that. And you're right, it can be overwhelming. But I want to keep it simple here. I want you to imagine, for example, you're driving down the road to your office to work. You are not focused on the other cars around you in terms of driving. I mean, yes, of course, we're focused on staying safe, but my point is that you're not focused on whether how to drive the other car on the left, the right, in front, or back. You are only focused on driving your own vehicle.
Mm.
And so I want you to pick one tool and understand that tool on how to use it, because you will learn basic skills similar to driving a car or driving a scooter, that you will learn basic skills on how to navigate and use that tool that you can then transfer those skills to the next tool. But focus, just start with one tool, understand it, and then from there, based on your needs, based on your goals, your objectives, then it might make sense to switch and add other tools.
Okay, thank you very much, Oscar. So for the insightful and thought-provoking discussion, I guess a lot of questions are still waiting for us to answer, but we still have a limited time.
You can email me. You can give me my contact. Yes.
Yeah, we can
Yes.
connect you
Yes.
on LinkedIn, right?
Yes, on LinkedIn. Yes. Yes.
It's maybe thousand of questions will be coming out again because it's thought-provoking discussion. So yeah.
I'll use AI to answer them.
And also, thank you so much, Oscar, for sharing your practical strategies on how AI can empower us to career mobility in today's dynamic landscape that many people aim for higher professional career and so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, today's session has highlighted an important message that AI is not merely a tool, right? But as a strategic partner for us in
For your
navigating careers, enabling individuals to explore new opportunities, strengthen the capabilities, and also compete more effectively in a rapidly evolving global economy in today's era. On behalf of KORIKA, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to
KORIKA, CTIS, and
CTIS and EIAT,
Yeah.
to Professor Hamam Riza, President of KORIKA, for inspiring the opening remarks, and Paul Schwartz for leading the KORIKA in this AI ecosystem. Miss Anna Richie Allen for the welcoming remarks, and for sure, Oscar Garcia for the valuable insight and practical knowledge shared today for us in KORIKA community. We also extend our gratitude to all participants, ladies and gentlemen, for your active engagement. A lot of questions. Thank you so much. Still many private questions coming to me until now, like maybe hundreds of them, maybe 1,000 are incoming and waiting. So we encourage all participants to take forward the key insight of this session to not only adopt AI tools, so with that, with regret, we conclude today's webinar because we have a very limited time. Today's webinar, AI for Career Mobility, how to use AI to explore, prepare, and also compete. We look forward to welcoming you in a future KORIKA initiative and also collaborations. Thank you for your participation and wishing you a productive and inspiring ahead. So yeah, but before that, I would like to give time to our distinguished speakers today to give the closing remarks, right? I guess this is very important because many participants still would like to ask the question. I guess I don't want to make them like sad or something like that. So can you give the closing remark to all of us? Yeah. Thank you.
So again, I want to thank all of you for taking time today out of your busy schedule to be part of this session today. Again, thank you to KORIKA, the U.S. Embassy, for the invitation and hosting. And everyone, I want you to know that the biggest competitor that we have is not another employee, it's not another company. The biggest competitor that we have is within our own mindset. Do
Exactly.
we believe in ourselves enough to be able to be willing to take a calculated risk?
Hmm.
And so I encourage you, all of you, to keep doing what you're doing, to believe in yourself. And again, thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Looking forward to welcoming you in a future KORIKA webinar and other KORIKA initiative, and welcome you to other collaboration with KORIKA. Thank you for your participation. Wishing you a productive and inspiring day ahead. Good morning.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.